Hey, I'm back. Did you get the picture?
Oh boy, you could not have timed that any better, Polly. We just went live right before you opened the door. That's like a Kramer slide in.
Studio audience goes wild.
yes, good man. Welcome to A Nice Place to Brew. I'm Jason.
And I'm George.
And that is Polly.
And that is
I love that. Today is Thursday, August 27th. We do the webcast here every Thursday at 6 p.m. Central Time, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Our YouTube page, you can find all of our past episodes. We've done weekly/bi-weekly. No, I'm sorry. Weekly/twice a week webcasts since the beginning of the quarantine. We got plenty of past episodes. So if you don't feel like waiting until next Thursday, check out our past episodes. We have a podcast under the same name, A Nice Place to Brew, that's available on iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify, and all the places you get your podcast from. Our website is www.aniceplacetobrew.com, and a Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter links are Nice Place to Brew and Nice Place to Brew. Welcome, everybody. Thank you so much for being here. Guys, what are you guys drinking tonight? I say Paulie's got a tall boy there.
Yeah.
I got, let me clean up my mess first. Will County Pina Coladas are one of their hazies.
Okay.
Tuesday, I went, I did some work over at Mad Hatchet for them guys. And then I was like, well, I'm here. Might as well swing over there, and hung out with Joel and Kyle and all them. And like, Joel was like, here, take a crowler. I'm like, okay, I'm not going to say no.
Sure.
You insist. Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, okay. It's already ready to go. You're just going to give it to me. Thank you very much. Sweet.
All right. And
What about you, George?
The lemon lime shandy out of my new kegerator. And,
All right.
Yeah. What about yourself?
So, flashback to one of our early episodes. I have the Hillbilly Haiku from our friends over at in Plainfield, Chicago Brew Works.
Okay. Chicago Brew Works, yeah.
Workforce. Yes.
Yeah.
So that podcast was with Brando. It's in the archives in our past episodes, and that's a fantastic episode to anyone who hasn't tuned in for that. So check out the backlog catalog and check out that one.
Yeah, that one was a lot of fun, actually.
So Hillbilly Haiku, just to recap, is a pre-prohibition lager, and you see just how clean this is, and the flavor is exactly as clean as it looks. So, job very well done.
Mm-hmm.
You know what that reminds me of, and I'm embarrassed because now we're just, this is background noise for everybody because we're talking amongst the three of us about the show. It has been too long since we've sent snow globes, and we've not had a healthy exchange of product. I think we're overdue for that.
Yes,
so
we are.
Yes. All right, we're all on the same page. All right, so I will take that as homework assignment for myself. So we'll get something set up among the group.
I got something going that I got something going right now. I can set snow globes in a week or two.
Oh yeah.
So,
okay. Yeah, Paulie, you have been busy. Did I hear you've had 3 different brew days in the last week or two?
Yep. Last Thursday, I brewed over here with Uncle Rick. Another one of his Mosaic Promises, and that's what he likes. He's trying to tweak it. He's trying to clone it and give him credit for it. And it was weird because it's been so hot up here in the Midwest.
Yeah, it has.
Like I tested the groundwater today. It was coming out at 84 degrees. And
wow.
My beer was like the first time we had the beer come out, it was like 78. Like, okay, we're gonna let this sit for a little while. And then that was day 1, and then day 2, I was doing, because I'm still working the whole no chill method out. I did a 2 Hearted clone no chill, and now this week another one with Uncle Rick, and we added a pre-chiller to our counterflow chiller, which I thought was kind of cool. And it was coming out at 78 degrees. And how hot was it today? 92, 91?
I think it's 91 right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was having it coming out at 70 degrees. So I was actually kind of proud of myself with that one.
Yeah, that's impressive.
Sure is. I want to see if I can. I got to send our links out first, but I do have some questions regarding this pre-chiller that Paulie mentioned a second ago. So more on that in a little bit.
Okay. Yeah, and
Yeah,
have
but
I know I talked about building the kegerator on a show.
You sent the
but have
picture
I-
with the fridge.
Yeah, but have
Now,
I
you sent me
shown
the picture of the other one.
Yeah, but have I shown the result on the show?
No, you have not.
Okay,
No.
then let me
Well,
get
for
that.
ourselves you have.
Yeah, let me get that sent to myself so I can do that. So,
Okay.
Paulie, take it, man.
What?
What's what's going on with you?
Just a lot of brewing and fucking. Uncle Rick came up with one of the most like ingenious things. If Jason can show the picture right now of a cleaning stand that he kind of nonchalantly built. And you put your kettle and your mash tun right on there, and you can just put the valve down, and you could be rinsing it out and cleaning it right there. It's like almost kind of like a
rubber grill is what it
yeah.
is.
It's kind of like a clean in place. Once you get it set, you clean it right there, and it's up and going.
Okay.
I know I sent Jason the picture of it. It was actually kind of cool, and we were always talking about how cleaning is like the biggest thing. I had so many friends that come over brewing, and they're like, every time I come over, you're cleaning. I'm like, yeah, well, that's part of brewing when you're doing it by yourself and you want to get it done in a reasonable amount of time. And not like, gotta clean your kettle and your mash tun the next day. No, you clean all that as you go. Make your brew day efficient.
Hey,
Right.
like this, you wait an hour and this stuff out, you know.
Yeah, right? Yeah. Like Rick said, a day like today, if we would have waited, we would have had to soak all of our equipment, all that sticky wort and plastic in 93 degree weather. It was gross.
Yeah, not
Yeah.
fun.
But I'm excited. There's no chill. I'm gonna try my no chill again. I mean, Jason worked for you. Can't wait to try that one. And I'm playing with the whole chilling method right now. It's gonna be fun for me. It's like my little portion of brewing.
Next to triple chill.
Triple chill.
Chill.
From no chill to triple chill.
Yeah, triple chill coming out frozen as it's coming out of your counter flow.
Paulie, you would have been super interested because I met up with a group of homebrewers this past Tuesday, and the topic for me was the Marzen that you and I brewed up, and of course there was two hot topics among that, and the first one, of course, is the no chill method. So the group really had no knowledge of the no chill method when I brought it up, and I brought up, of course, the background is when you're in an area that's got strict water conservation laws, or if you feel like not wasting a bunch of water cooling down your beer to pitching temperatures, that's something you can explore. And everybody, the overall consensus from the group was like, wow, I'm surprised I haven't heard more about that. So you would have really appreciated it. It raised a lot of eyebrows.
Oh, okay, that's good. That's kind of
And
cool,
the second thing, of course, is fermenting under pressure, which goes hand in hand because you can no chill in a 5-gallon keg like many homebrewers have, and it's just natural. Yeah, exactly. Pitch your yeast, throw on your spunding valve, set it, and that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, maybe that should be the snow globe share next time, just to put a figure around this experiment.
Yes.
Pressure effect.
The Marzens.
Yeah. It's in the kegerator. It's all carved up. It's all ready.
No,
Yeah, I just had to put mine back under pressure for a little bit. It's a little light on the pressure.
Okay.
Faster, slower,
Yeah.
any difference to
Kind
it?
of. I'll tell you about it later.
Okay.
Sorry, Uncle Rick's asking questions. Jason, he's asking questions about this pressure fermentation, how it goes faster with like lagering and whatnot. You want to enlighten him on this? 'Cause I don't think
How
he
it-
was here in this conversation.
How the lagering goes faster?
Well, just like fermentation goes. Oh, fermentation doesn't go faster, but I know lagering does, and a few
Right.
saving it does.
Well,
Right?
it can save you time in a lot of different areas. Number one is you're not transferring from vessels like you are in a traditional brewing setting. You shorten your dip tube. You allow for all of the stuff within the beer to fall out, and as long as your dip tube isn't too long, then it's not going to dip into that. So you're fine.
How much do you shorten it by?
Or-
A couple inches
Or
I mean,
you
however
get,
much trub you expect,
or you get
or George-
fancy like me and get a floating dip tube.
and you can get a
There you
floating
go.
dip tube. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How much are floaters?
Oh, $30-$40.
What's that?
Oh,
Less than that actually. I got mine for 17, Polly.
Yeah, if you look at them,
Oh,
they're super simple.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a fishing bobber. So
Where'd you
it'll
get
just go.
Jason or George, send me a link. I'm going to see. We have to start carrying these in the store because these things they can be
Okay.
a hot commodity right now.
The floating dip tubes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially people are doing this. Like, actually, the whole fermentation under pressure. I was at Broom Grow and somebody asked me like, "We don't know what this is about," and now here we are about a year later, and now we're doing it ourselves, which I'm actually. I love it.
When you talk about that at Brew and Grow, do you reference this webcast? Oh, check out this episode. We talked about this a ton.
Oh, you should.
Yeah, totally.
Okay, if it gets brought up, I will for sure. Oh,
Yeah.
I've already got customers from Brew Grow on the goddamn webcast, so give me a break.
I know. No, I'm not giving you a hard time. I'm just saying if you know.
I know.
We have.
All the time. I plug the all the time.
I know you do. I know. You can point out episodes. I mean, we have talked up this topic plenty, of course.
Yeah,
So anybody who's interested, there's a plethora of information just right here from the webcast.
Anybody brew lately? I know I brewed today's, but maybe you guys. Oh, let's pull up the pre-chiller with counterflow. Did you get that picture, Jason?
I have it here. It's going to take me a little while to bring it up. Keep talking, guys.
Well,
So good.
what we could do in the meantime, I guess, is if you want to allow my screen share, I do have I can share the results of my kegerator build.
Yes.
Okay. Sure.
Yes. Let's
Give
talk
you some
about
time.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't see. Yeah, it dropped off the screen. That's why I couldn't see it.
Yep.
Yes.
Cool.
Yes.
Yeah, so you can see it there. I'll make it a little bit bigger. But so I use that refrigerator that I talked about before, which I highly recommend, by the way, because it is it does have the hump in the back, but I was able to fit a 5-gallon and a 3-gallon tank in there, and all the coils and everything are on the sides, so no electronics, no coils on the top. So I was able to drill 4 holes, 2 for gas and 2 for liquid lines, and just feed them in from the top. And so I didn't have to try to force my my tank in there. My tank is actually behind the curtain here.
nice. I see that. Yeah, I can see the top of it.
Yeah,
That's cool.
So I built this little box around it, and then I've got these metal pipes here with the liquid lines going up through the metal pipes up to the taps here. So one of them is my beer. That's where the shandy came from today. And the other one is seltzer water, flavored seltzer water for the wife. So she can have, right now it's lemon lime seltzer water.
So, can you zoom in on the top where the shanks and the faucets are, or do you have? So is the pipe coming up behind there? Okay, so you just built a box
underneath.
There. Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I've got one of these plates under on the top of it too.
Yeah, flange there. Yeah, I get that. And so you built a box around there, and everything's in there. Okay, that was a question I had. So that's actually kind of cool. I like that little thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to build a better box at some point. Just make it, fancier. But for now that works. And yeah, so I have my taps there, and lines coming up through here, and so it has the kind of drawback that some of the kegerators do, where the first pull, that is in the lines that is not in the refrigerator, is
Yep.
warm. So sometimes you have to give it a quick pull for a couple seconds, shut it off, and let it kind of settle, so you're not getting a whole ton of foam. But other
Yep.
than that, it's I'm pretty happy with it.
That is nice.
Well done. That
Yeah.
really is a very nice piece.
I gotta admit, I really like that Blue Island sticker right there in the middle of it. Where'd you get
Yeah.
that from?
I turned around after it was built, and Hannah had slapped those stickers on there. So now I'm on the lookout for brewery stickers, so I can hopefully more black and white ones like that, so I can put it on there.
That's kind of funny. She would put it on there and even know about it. That's what makes me.
Yeah.
I saw the bridge. I'm like, oh, that's great.
Yeah, and I don't know if you can see what it's. Oh no, you can't see what it says. But this is a kitchen towel that a friend of ours got us, and it says "Craft beer makes me hoppy." So right now I'm using it as a drip tray, but I do want to get one of those like rubberized bar drip trays that I can put up there, long term.
I think you'll be happy with that.
Yeah. So
That's a nice
All
one.
right.
that's that.
Yeah, very well done. Very well.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Next. So I can do this correctly.
What's Jason doing? I'm kind of scared. What are you doing, Jason?
Yeah, your picture's coming up, man. Your pre-chiller.
Oh, okay.
Your preacher,
All right.
yeah.
Oh, jeez. Once I can find. No, that's not it. Crap.
These crawlers are a lot of beer. I'll tell you that right now. Kind of big.
They're what, 32, aren't they?
Yep.
Yeah.
But when you drink a crawler by yourself, it is a lot of beer. So
It's a lot of beer. Yeah.
Drinking half a growler. So whatever. It's all good.
You got Rick there to help you out, don't you?
He's got his own. I was going to share this with everybody from my neighborhood, but I left it in his car the other day, and I decided to drink it tonight. So
Okay.
I forgot to bring the sour from Blue Island. They had a blueberry Berliner Weiss that was actually really good from Will County over the weekend. You guys are always good.
Yep.
Almost. If you like Berliner Weisses and it was fruity and good.
George, I'm struggling here. Can I send these to you and can you share them?
Yeah, but you'd have to send them to my
I'll
to a different email.
Okay.
Oh.
Send them there.
So what are you guys drinking now? How about that? Still the same beer?
What,
Same
now
beer.
From the beginning of the show 18 minutes ago? Yes, same beer.
Right.
Although I am going through this pretty quickly, so I probably am.
Yeah,
gonna
me
need a
too, right?
refill. Yeah.
Just trying to keep the conversation going so we're like no dead air or anything.
Thank you.
How's the
Oh,
weather?
there's nothing wrong with dead air.
How's the weather over there, George? Is it as hot as Hades down there like it is up here in the Chicagoland area? It's freaking gross.
It's been like mid 80s here, so it's not too bad. I was actually out golfing last night. Our local golf course has a deal if you get a tee time after 4 p.m. It's like $17 with a cart, which is really good. And so we ended up doing that. But now that time has been killed, I can share that.
All right. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so as you can see, I got the kettle. The immersion chiller is my pre-chiller that goes in that bucket, or it goes in a bucket of ice. and then that
Wait,
water
this-
comes off the
on-
hose.
On the right hand side here, this is what you're talking
Yep.
about?
Yep, that's the
Okay.
immersion chiller. That's hooked up to the groundwater. That goes in a bucket of ice, and that water comes into the cold
It's
side of the counterflow chiller,
Okay.
and then it just from there. And that's pretty much like I'm getting the groundwater and I'm pre-chilling in a bucket of ice water, and that's what's getting set. And I was getting work coming out at 70-ish degrees today.
I
At
saw
95
this-
degrees.
That's
I saw
quite a
this-
setup.
It is quite the setup. I saw this done once before, Polly, and somebody used a jockey box, and because there's already the coil in the cooler, so they
Mhm.
ran the liquid through the jockey box before it went through a counterflow. But a bucket is a really good idea too if you have an immersion chiller, because that's like the perfect size for that.
Right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
most home brewers start with immersion chillers and graduate to counterflow chillers or plate chillers.
Yeah. Some
Yeah.
of us stay on immersion chillers forever.
Right? I get
Guilty.
it.
Yeah.
I know a bunch of people that do it too, and they've told me like their arguments, and all right, have at it. So
Yeah.
I just made this happen today. It was like last week. It took us almost like 2 hours to collect 4 gallons because it was the groundwater was so warm last week.
Oh wow.
Jeez.
With the weather
And you're running water that whole time.
Uh-huh.
Oh wow. Yeah.
Okay.
That's-
Well, that's quite a selling point for the no chill method. Just that story right there.
Yeah. Yeah, no kidding.
At least for us people up here in the north, when it gets really hot in August.
Hey man, every area's got their own version of that.
Yeah, it's true.
Some areas it's longer, some areas it's shorter.
Did you this immersion chiller that's here on the ground here? Did you build that one?
Oh no, I did not build that one. Actually, the immersion chiller that was on the table, my buddy Eric that's been on the show before.
Right.
These are all like the immersion chillers are his, and
Okay.
his rig is at my house. And I was like trying to think out of the box today. I'm like, oh, he's got all of these, so I grabbed all. He's got like 2 or 3 immersion chillers, so I grabbed what he had and I made it work with what I had to work with. Because actually, the counterflow chiller, that's my counterflow chiller. I got
That's a
that
nice
from
one.
JBG Christmas party.
Yeah, it's not surprising.
Yeah.
I just got lucky and got the first pick, and I'm like, that was the thing on there. I went and grabbed it and just walked out and put it in my car right away. Screw you!
Yeah.
I'll always seal it. No matter how
Yeah.
drunk I get.
All good.
Yeah, no, that's my buddy Eric. Like,
Okay.
but he had this one that fit in the bucket perfectly. I wanted to put that one in there, but it wouldn't fit in that bucket right there.
Okay.
So
So
Well, we
you just
got
put
it
it in
coming
the
out.
bucket and dumped a bunch of ice around it.
water and ice, and I let it sit there
Water
for a
and
little
ice.
while. Yeah,
Okay.
let it get cool. I ran a little bit of water through there for a minute. Once I got everything going, there was no leaks. Then I dumped it, and then you watch the thermometer, and you play with it from there.
Okay.
And it was coming out anywhere between 75 and 70 the whole time. I let it sit for a minute. I put a long thermometer down there. It says 70 degrees, so I pitched the yeast and brought it inside.
Okay.
Call it a day.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, Polly, after we started talking, I have just been, my brain has been going on different corny keg caps that we could create. Yeah.
Yeah?
Because I don't know if you remember, it was kind of late in the show, and I think we were both a little tipsy. So, but it was, remember we started talking about having a line of corny keg caps that we could put on. You know, one
Yeah.
was like a thermo well and a spunding valve and things.
Oh,
like
yeah,
that.
Yeah.
I do remember that. That could be fun. Let's have some fun with this. I'm not against it.
Yeah. So no, it's a good setup, man. And it makes sense. You run the water through there, pre-chill it, make it colder, and you're probably not going to melt the ice that fast because you're not running any hot water through. And
Exactly.
then yeah. So how
We put
fast were you able? That looks like. Did you do a 5 or a 10 gallon batch?
5. I
Okay,
cut
so
it. How much faster was it? Over half. I had it
Well,
done
how long-
probably.
From 2 hours to 1 hour, or what?
Yeah, 2 hours, maybe like 45 minutes. Because it was actually I had it flow.
Okay.
Like the thing was is I had it flowing out faster. Out of because I had my counterflow chiller, which is I trust that gauge a little bit more. And it was coming out anywhere between 74 and 75, maybe bump up to 78. But then when I actually dropped the thermometer down in there, it says 70. I'm like, all right, I'm good. I let it sit for maybe like 10, 15 minutes, cap on top of it. But
So,
I mean,
not that I want to reward Uncle Rick's thought process on a triple chill method, but I'm wondering if you could. I'm wondering if you could speed that up even more. If you took that counterflow chiller and cut some appropriate holes in the bucket to be able to put those the two ends out through the sides of the bucket and fill the bucket with ice. So not only would you pre-chill the water, but you pre-chill the counterflow chiller.
oh, okay.
Preach.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get that. No, you got colder water going through the counterflow chiller. That's actually kind of cool. I like that idea because you already got it coming out cold, and then you got cold water going into there. Could be onto something here.
Right.
I'm gonna figure something out. I'll look
Okay.
at some plumbing things. We're gonna make this
So-
happen.
Okay.
I'm sure I'm not painting an accurate picture to this, but I remember my one experience with a counterflow chiller was a brew day in January, and it was in a basement. And the way it was sold right before we turned the counterflow on was this'll bring the liquid from boil to pitching temperature in one pass.
That was Joel,
Yes.
wasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Not naming names, but yes. But yeah, I mean, is that just a function of the fact that it was January and the water was as cold as it was?
Okay, so I could agree with that. I mean, it's all about like in the cold weather. Yes, you can, but like, that's why it took us 2 hours to collect last time.
Yeah.
It was one pass. But it was going through the counterflow chiller.
Okay. All right. Fair enough.
If that makes any kind of sense.
Yes.
It's going through really slowly.
It's going. Yeah. Well, it's got a long ways to go, as we just saw from that picture.
Yeah. I mean, with the groundwater, I remember like when I first started going with immersion chillers and pumps. I remember like we had big buckets of ice, and I laughed about this. I'm like, it's 90. It was like 93, like it is today, and I'm sitting out here just holding a hose, and like with my immersion chiller into a pump, into the ice, and then back around, and add more ice, and I'm like, are we really trying to chill work down to 20 degrees below what it is outside right now? That's the feed that gets me all the time when you can figure that out, which I did today. So, free chiller is where it's at. Hot days, free chiller.
Oh, I have the other picture here.
Yeah.
Do you want me to pull this one up? It looks like it's in action.
Yes. So next topic, if we're or do we want to? Is there anything left on this before we move on?
No, let's move on.
I think we're good. All right.
Okay.
Can we
All
talk about cleaning?
Yes.
Oh wait,
So,
hang on.
Paulie-
Sorry. I'm sorry. 1 second, Jason. Before we move, can you share that? Is this?
Yeah. No,
this that
that's where we're
setup?
going.
Oh, that's where you're going. All right, then go for it.
That was a pre-show. That was when.
Oh, this was pretty. Oh crap! I'm sorry. Okay.
Yeah, that's what I thought. This is it in action, isn't it? Because that's the
Okay.
immersion chiller.
Yes.
That's the
And the
pre-chiller.
car, well,
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
yeah.
All right.
He's talking about the cleaning
Right.
stand.
Yes,
that's-
exactly. So the
Okay.
reason.
Sorry. Go ahead, Jason.
So the reason I'm bringing this up is because I spent my entire evening last night transferring. Well, no, I should. Let's see what I did last night. I bottled. I cleaned. I transferred, and I carbonated, and I think that's everything. And it was a giant pain in the ass. Like I've never been more frustrated like cleaning stuff than I was last night. Partially because it was like 9 o'clock in the evening and it was like 90 plus degrees. Like to Paulie's earlier point about just how hot it is here in the Midwest right now. And he's not kidding. It is boiling. But man, anybody out there who has a utility sink or something similar, I am officially jealous of you. So
Well, you could too, Jason, because I have a utility sink out in my shed, and
Yeah.
what I do to get water to it is I have a hose that goes to it, and then I just have some adapters to adapt it to faucet connections to bring it up to a faucet. So if you
Okay.
really want a utility sink, you can easily put one in and run it off of your hose connection. Now you won't have hot water.
well,
but,
that's problem
you know,
number one. And then the
Yeah.
second problem that I still can't get past is drainage, because all that water is going to have to go somewhere.
Right. Yeah. See, mine drains out the side of my shed and into the yard. So
Yeah. See, I don't have that option. So
yeah.
regardless, I know I'm mostly ranting, and that's pretty much all it's kind of meant to be. But I just there has to be a better method of cleaning than going from my garage to my first floor guest bedroom's bathroom and using a bathtub to scrub out mash tuns, brew kettles, and all the other instruments that I'm using to make homebrew. It sucks.
Yeah.
But then
So-
Uncle Rick comes out with this badass idea. If you pull the picture up.
Which one?
Should be in your
Uh,
inbox, Georgia. Just hit send.
Okay. Oh, there it is. Give me a second.
Yeah.
Hey, Paul,
It was
just
actually
so
kinda
you know,
cool.
I already had the pond pump for Kiyomi's pool.
We're not even talking. We're not talking about the pump. We're talking about your badass tail cleaner right now.
Oh, the thing we just put together?
No,
You put
You all right, Jason?
you pulled off on your own. He's walking away. I was trying to like bring him in. Well, long story short, he's got an old frame for a Weber grill. That here we
I
go.
thought that looked
There we go.
familiar. Yeah.
An old frame for a Weber grill that he's got his
Oh.
kettle in there. He can put his mash on, his hot liquor tank, clean it out, put the valve down there, open it up, and you got a freshly clean kettle. It's actually pretty cool.
Yeah, that's pretty
Just-
nice. Just
So that's a grill frame,
Yep.
and it's big enough so that it can fit sideways.
Yep.
Okay, not bad.
I've actually,
Yeah.
if you look at the bottom, you can see the valve where the valve's open.
Yeah,
yeah. You can see the kettle whizzing all over the yard there.
yeah.
Yeah.
But it's still kind
Is
of
the
cool.
is the OSB part of it, or is that just for a makeshift table, or
It's a makeshift table.
okay?
That's what we're working with right now. So, you know, it's like kind of like the cleaning stand. So we put everything over there and someone cleans it all. You know, may it be me, may it be Rick, may it be anybody else over here trying to brew with us.
Okay.
So what other cleaning hacks can we possibly recommend to people out there?
Fill your tub with PBW.
Fill your bathtub. Fill your tub with PBW. Okay. All right. Well, okay. No, okay. There's a couple things about that. Okay. Number one, PBW is fantastic, but it's not cheap.
True.
And second of all, that's a lot of water.
It is a lot of water. I don't know, man. What I do is I rinse my stuff out immediately when I'm done with it, which really helps the cleaning process. And then
so nothing dries. Yeah.
Exactly. Nothing dries. And then, I'll clean everything out with like PBW on a sponge. And then about every 2 or 3 times, I'll do a caustic cleaning with the pump and PBW and running it through like that. So, it's labor intensive, but just is what it is,
Paulie?
Every brew day, I've been cleaning, at least over here. Actually, no, I've done this wherever I brew. I clean the kettle out. I get the kettle clean, and then I fill it with PBW or OxyClean or whatever I have to work with. And then I run it for a minute until I feel PBW or OxyClean, so it's getting all that junk out. And then I just run it through. And then I rinse everything out, and then I call it a day. That chugger pump down there is probably the coolest thing I love. I love that thing.
Yeah, I love my chugger. Yeah. So, Paulie, I brought this picture up because I wanted to ask you a question. That's the Hellfire, right?
Yep.
Okay. So you have this just sitting on a metal kitchen rack with a counterflow sitting below it. Is that counterflow sitting there when you have the Hellfire on?
Yeah, but the whole thing is I'm not using that counterflow today.
Well, I know, but like it doesn't. I'd be honestly worried about like the counterflow melting and things.
No, it hasn't melted. It hasn't.
Okay, all right. So there's enough. Does the rack itself get warm when you run it? No. Okay, good.
Wow, that's surprising.
Yeah, I mean, I've got mine sitting on concrete.
That's almost like 18 inches, a foot to 18 inches above that.
But even so, that's thin metal. Like, right. I mean, heat that close to that, I wouldn't think it would take much to get real hot.
Well, the Hellfire burner does direct a lot upwards, like most of it upwards. So it's not super surprising, but mine, like I said, sits on concrete and inside my shed, and everything gets warm. So it's been hard for me to tell how much, like if I were to try to elevate it like this, what I would need to do, for fireproofing and things like that.
Gotcha.
So that's why I was asking that question.
I honestly, the only time I've ever had a problem with Rick's counterflow chiller is right now, because it's so hot up here right now. Raw water is so hot, and we keep it underneath there. It's never melted. I've never had a problem with like picking it up and it's hot or anything like that. Like we're like getting towards the end of boil, get ready for chilling. Because normally I'll just take that and I'll hook it right to the outlet of the pump.
I'm noticing something over here. Am I the only one that's seeing this?
Yes.
Yeah.
Are we stirring up controversy about the logo? Is that what we're doing?
Well, I'm assuming that G is the end of a certain brew club there.
Yeah.
And he's loving the new logo. Yeah. So the question is, which logo will George's new refrigerator be sporting after the next snow globe shows up in Virginia? Dun, dun, dun.
That's a good question. That is a good question.
George, I want to put it this way: being an old schooler, like I love the old logo, and I just love talking shit to all the new schoolers about it. So I keep them both. I have both logos on my wherever I'm at. The diamond might be a little bit higher, but still the other JBG logo is there. And actually, it was kind of funny. I was walking through Joliet the other day, or yesterday, and I was walking by one of the bowling alleys, Town and Country Lanes. There's a JBG sticker on a stop sign.
On a stop sign.
Yeah. Right outside the bowling alley.
In what town?
Joliet.
In what? It was in Joliet. Okay, perfect.
Yeah, it was in Joliet. I was a little annoyed with what I had going on. I walked by. I'm like,
Yeah.
all right. Like,
Yeah.
all right. Hold on. Wait till you see it on social media. I'm gonna talk shit to somebody. I already think I know who did it, but we'll
So,
find out.
so I gotta ask the question: am I allowed to put a JBG sticker on my kegerator if I'm no longer a dues paying member? I haven't paid dues in like 2-3 years.
The answer is yes.
The answer is yes. All right.
Yeah. There's no question about it.
No,
All right.
no. You don't have to worry about that. You know, like the only reason you're not part of the club is because you live in fucking Virginia.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
It's a little far.
Yeah, exactly.
I've driven through a hurricane to get there.
You've
but-
submitted beers to competitions citing JBG as your club affiliate.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
I have.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Although CBS is now a official AHA club, so on the next one that I do, it's going to be a little bit of a question.
Ooh.
Oh.
Ooh, boy.
All right.
Torn.
I'm gonna bring a story up because Jason's gonna like this. When I brought Scott on and I couldn't get the internet down there, I had a story about walking through Joliet and getting called out by a boss member. Jason, you remember the story?
Keep talking. I don't recall offhand, but I might in a second.
So, it goes back to everything that goes on this year. One event that was supposed to go on was called the Kappa Beer Walk. And
Oh yes, okay, yeah. Now I know what you're talking about. Yeah. Oh, this is a great story.
so I was with my friends that are part of the Kappa Beer Walk, and the year before we somehow acquired a boat, like a decorative boat. It was at the house, and a bunch of people are taking pictures with it. And then this year, 2020, it is what it is. We decided to take the boat to all the houses and a few other friends' houses. And here I am with like a couple of friends. I'm carrying a boat that's like 4 feet. Like, don't mind us. We're just walking through the neighborhood with a boat. And there's a bunch of pictures up. But then all of a sudden, like I cracked a joke to one person, and he's like, all right. He laughed about it, and as we're walking back, I'm like, hey man, are you Polly? I'm like, who the fuck? He's like, I'm part of Boss. I know everybody. Like, he rambled off like Scott, and a few people that I know from Boss, and he's like, I saw your JPG shirt. I'm like, yes, it's me. So I was literally walking around Joliet, taking pictures in people's front yards. They didn't even know I was there. And I'm posting them on Facebook and walking through the neighborhood with a boat. It was kind of funny. I loved it.
Just Paulie in his boat.
Me and my
In his
boat.
boat.
Nothing to see here. I'm getting my boat.
So,
The
And
one
we
part
have
about that story
segue
that I
from
had forgotten about. Sorry.
no, go ahead.
The one part about that story that I forgot was that was a boss member that they called you out on that. Yeah.
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 I even asked Scott about it. Scott doesn't even know the story. I haven't told him yet because I was going to tell him that night. I
Yeah.
haven't seen him, so it's kind of funny because I even asked him who it was.
Yeah.
He knew the name right away. So that's what made me giggle more.
What's up, George?
So I've been talking to Hannah, and we want to do more camping, but we have the dogs, and so we don't want to leave them in a tent if we decide to go, hiking or biking or what have you. So we're talking about either getting like a camper van or getting a van and retrofitting it to be a camper van, so we can have air conditioning in there and 4 solid walls for the dogs and everything.
So you need the mystery machine.
Pretty much, yeah, the mystery machine.
Yeah.
So, we're looking at like Ford Transit device, and the Ram version and things like that we can convert and stuff. So, I'm looking at all these build things, and what all of them are lacking is a kegerator setup. I'm feeling like if I'm gonna build a camper van, there's got to be a kegerator in there.
Yeah.
But then I wonder, okay, so you're in a moving vehicle. You have a kegerator. What? I mean, if it's disconnected, like if the liquid line is disconnected as you're riding down the road, is that no longer an open container?
So that's the dividing line, whether or not the liquid lines are connected or not.
Well, that's what I'm wondering, because that's how the beer would come out. Or do I need that, or do I just get one of those like tap locks that I can lock the tap closed, and then problem solved? So what do you think? Which do you think a cop would appreciate more?
So what do you think? Okay, all right. In all seriousness, what do you think would be more complicated in that example? Navigating the legal landscape of such proposition, or working through the mechanics of getting an actual working kegerator in the back of a van?
Oh, definitely the legal mechanics.
You think really?
Oh, kegerator I could do easy, especially now that I've got sorted.
So, do you really think that a fridge is going to properly like power off a car battery?
So yeah, I've definitely seen inverter setups and things, and what a lot of people do is, like, when you get to a campsite, you have a switch inside that will switch over to like plug-in AC power, where you can plug it into the campsite. And if you're mobile, you can flip that switch and it'll run it off a car battery or a couple car batteries with an inverter. And when you're plugged in, it'll actually charge those car batteries so that you can have power and stuff. So,
all right. Okay.
But, worst case scenario in between, then the fridge just isn't on, but corny kegs tend to keep their temperature for quite some time. So
yeah, as long as it's brought to an appropriate temperature first.
Right.
Okay.
Exactly.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. You're winning me over on that front. Yeah.
Okay. What's up, Polly?
Okay, so I came in the little conversation. You're talking about bringing something to a party, to a campsite.
George is going to buy a utility van of some kind. Yeah.
And convert it to be a camper.
Yeah.
Okay, I can get that. But then if you want something very cheap, get yourself a garbage can with 3 taffers on the front of it.
Man, we're overthinking this horribly, George. Just get a trasherator.
I mean,
you just have to stop for ice. That's it.
Right. I mean, I'm hearing you guys talking about this. I'm like, no, we can make this a lot easier.
So,
yeah. You're 100% right, Polly. That would be the way to do it.
You're not wrong.
My defense in this argument was probably like 5 years ago. I went to, you know how I make Great Taste of the Midwest fan, and I do the weekend. I do ticket weekend and the best weekend. It's 2 separate weekends. So one year I went with my buddy Sean and Eric, and we actually brewed. We had beer. We had beer ready. We showed up to ticket weekend with a trasherator and 10 gallons of homebrew, and like out to the oven. Like, you got a cup, just go ahead and fill it up. Like I remember waking up in the morning, like this thing's really cool. I'm like, you want a beer? I'm like, yeah. And like, let me. How did you do this? I just lifted up the lid and like, all right, it makes a lot of sense. It's amazing. So yeah, trasherator. Don't buy no minivan or trailer or anything like that. Just drop that out there. Bam.
Well, okay.
I love that.
To be fair, Paulie, I'm not converting a van just so I can transport beer. That's not the goal. It is I'm going to convert a van to have a camper van, but I also want beer.
Okay, so I get that, and you can just bring the trasherator out. Bam. You know, like I always heard this thing, like, you know, because I've always heard this phrase called KISS. Keep it simple.
Keep it simple. Yeah,
Yeah.
You're not wrong.
Yeah. This is a perfect example of that too.
Yeah. So, I mean, if you really want to say keep it simple, then my first thought is just fill some bottles before you go, and and then you don't have to worry about it. Just put them in the fridge and you're good, or in a cooler or what have you.
Okay.
But
so what you said, what I'm thinking. You want to keep it simple. Okay, I gotta fill bottles. I gotta sanitize my bottles. I gotta fill them up. I gotta cap them. I gotta do this. I gotta do that. Oh no! I'm gonna grab the keg. I'm gonna grab the trasherator. I'm gonna grab the CO2 tank. Bring it. Hook the shit up. We're drinking it until it's done. You want about keep it simple?
Yeah.
I mean,
he's got you there. Like speaking, like I filled 8 bottles last night, and I hated every moment of it.
Man, you're weak. What? Were you?
That's all that was left. No, that's all. I needed to drain a keg, so I had space to, because I brought in my hazy. My hazy's on carbonation now.
Okay.
Oh, is this what you had left over on that?
So it was I bottled the last of my cream ale.
Oh, okay.
So that spot emptied out and hazy moved in.
All right, makes sense. All right, I get that.
So I'm gonna share one more thing, Jason.
Okay.
So if we do this trasherator, if I did a kegerator, a mobile kegerator, I was thinking about doing something like this, which is a mini regulator.
Hello. Look at that.
And that, it connects into the gas line, and it's just a mini regulator, and it uses these little CO2 cartridges to so you're not gonna charge a beer, that way, but it uses these little CO2 cartridges that just spin into the bottom here, and so you can keep pressure on it for serving,
and not lug around a whole tank.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right. Yeah.
So that would work with a trasherator too, Paulie.
All right. So my 2 cents on that. That thing's great for one keg.
Yes.
If you got one keg, but if the keg starts going low, you're going to use more CO2. All those little cartridges.
It's true.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
I mean, if you're going to do this for like a one keg and a picture tap, have at it. Just make sure you have backup. But if you're
you bring a couple of those cartridges with you, Yeah. But yeah, if you need multiple kegs, or if you need to in a lot of CO2, then a tank makes all kinds of sense. But I'm thinking
if it's just
minimal
one keg,
minimal space requirement is what I'm thinking.
Yep.
So
You got a bunch of those cartridges, and you're all good. So
yeah,
make sure your beer's ready to go before you pour it.
That's important.
yeah.
Yep.
So yeah.
What else? Yeah, we went from cleaning to customizing George's future traveling van. That's awesome.
Indoor trash
Indoor.
and
Into a trasherator. Hope we nailed the dismount.
I absolutely think so. Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna grab a little bit more.
Yeah, man, go for it.
I'll be right back.
So Jason,
Yeah,
how is that Marzen tasting? Is it good?
I'm very pleased with it.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
excited to try it. So
yeah. I mean, there's nothing obviously off about it. I mean, I guess the one criticism might be that there's a little bit of haze to it, and I think if I had left the beer at lager temperature longer than I did, probably could have improved.
or it dropped out, yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, it's a full on Marzen. There's no mistaking it. And I've got that as a submission for Brickstoberfest. So
Oh, did you really?
I didn't share that last week's episode with Greg. Knowing the reason I didn't was because I don't know who's going to end up judging that, and I don't think it's right to throw that out there like that. But yeah,
No, I get that. That's awesome. I was actually thinking the same thing. I'm like, oh, it's open. I'm like, I never got a chance to text you. I'm like, oh, you should maybe throw that in there.
yeah.
Because-
Your name's on there too. Don't think I forgot that. Yeah. So you and I can share that first place award if we get it.
We gotta go, bitches.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
So
What
what'd
else?
you get
What
now there, George? Got a new beer.
What's up?
So
Same
Is
one,
it
just a
good?
little bit more. Yeah.
more of the beer. All right, I
Yeah,
got
look
it.
at that head. Yeah.
That's
got
very
good
nice.
attention on this
There
one.
it is.
Yeah.
That's very healthy.
Buddy of mine has started using gelatin in his beers for clarity. He throws in, I forget what he says. He like mixes it with some water and throws it in. He says he can see within 10 minutes it just drop out and clear
Yeah.
out.
It does.
Sean talked about that too. I mean, because
he did. Yeah.
because the gelatin is a keg edition, isn't it?
Or at the very end of your fermenter, like that's what he does. He uses the fast ferment conical.
Okay.
And so he throws it in there, lets things drop out, and then racks over to his keg.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So the question is all the residual stuff. Do you want to leave it in the do you want to leave it in the fermenter or in the keg? Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, if I had the choice, I'd leave it in the fermenter. You know.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. That makes more sense.
So I'm
A
thinking
lot
about
of times, with those conicals, you gotta get rid of it all, and then once you got clear beer, and then rack on top of that.
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
You know, since last week's episode, we talked to Greg from the Brixie's Brewers Homebrew Club here in the Chicagoland area.
Mm-hmm.
Great episode, by the way. If you haven't checked it out, check out the archives. That glass of he had a glass of Baltic Porter that he closed off the show with, and it looked just spectacular. Like, I've been thinking about that beer style ever since that show. Partially because I've never brewed a Baltic Porter before, and it's always kind of called out to me, and I've just never pulled the trigger on it.
Aren't
So
Baltic porters slightly sour though?
sour?
No, they're lagered.
Yeah, that's a lager dark beer.
Right.
Yeah, it's a lager dark beer. And Jason, I don't know, it was Dave Fetty. It wasn't Greg. It was Dave Fetty.
It was Dave. I thought so. Yeah.
Where am I getting Greg from? What's wrong with me?
Whatever. It's all
I'm
good.
sorry. Oh, boy. Gotta edit this.
Greg, Dave, same thing.
Jeez.
It happens.
And he was such a great guy, Dave. He really he was. He was a wealth of knowledge. It was great talking to him.
Yeah, I'm
And he
sorry
lives
I
here-
wasn't able to be here last week.
And he lives right here in a nice place to live.
Ooh, he could have come over to the Darien Studios.
He could have. I didn't know until we were broadcasting that he lived right here.
Okay, yeah, you're right. You know what I'm thinking about? I'm thinking of the Flanders.
Oh yeah. Oh, totally different. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So now I'm going to throw out a controversial club subject, and just asking this on this webcast is probably going to get me in trouble, but I'm going to do it anyway. Baltic Porter, big and dark. What do you think?
Aren't they don't they tend to be low alcohol?
No, what?
No.
No, Baltic Porters are 7 to 10, I think.
Oh, yeah. Damn. I don't know this style at all, apparently. Yeah, you're right. 7 to 7.
I know they had at least one when we went to Kinslager, George.
Yeah, okay. So it's big and it's dark, so I don't see a problem.
Yeah.
I can get behind this.
You can get behind this? Okay.
Yeah, I can. I've already done one with some guys from the club already. That Joe and Bill. I don't know if you know who they are.
Okay.
The young.
The
Joe and Bill. I call them Bill and Ted.
Yeah, I understand completely why that needs no explanation.
So this style recommends some of my favorite malts: Munich, Vienna, Special B, and Carafa.
Carafa 1 or 2.
2.
Yeah. Yeah,
Oh,
there's a
okay.
lot there.
Yeah, that's some. Oh, well, dang. I ended up giving away most of my. That's my last porter. That's the one I had on tap at the brewery.
At Unionville, it went quickly.
It did. I just knew that I wasn't gonna drink 5 gallons of it, so I'm somewhat hesitant to brew this. Brew 5 gallons of it, but I want to try. I want you to try it. So you need to do it and send me a snow globe.
All right.
All right.
Done.
Okay.
What am I getting sucked in here, Jason? Am I getting a Baltic Porter and then George snow globes? I'm in.
Yes. I don't care who does it.
All right.
Money or
All right.
audio.
It just became a collaboration. All right. I'm good with that.
All right. Yeah,
I've submitted several beers to competitions as Baltic Porters wrongfully because, that's one of my, stop me if I've talked about this on the webcast before. I don't think I have, but that is one of my grievances with the BJCP is there is not a robust porter category, which I think is insane. I think it's a big gap within the BJCP guidelines. Because if you have a 6.5% to 7.5% porter, there's nowhere for it to land. Because English porter is only like 5%. American porter, I think, is a category 2, and I think that's only 5 to 6%, something like that. So, yeah. So, I mean, Baltic porter from an ABV standpoint is the only fit, but it's a way, way different beer than American or British style porters. So.
Is there an Imperial Porter?
No. It's American porter, British porter, and Baltic. That's it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's it.
So that's a big gap there.
Yeah, that is. That really is. That's kind of cool because I always love porters.
Me too.
That was like one of my.
Yeah.
that was one of my first beers that got me into craft beer.
Yeah.
Along
Was a
with
porter.
the Marzens and all that.
Yeah.
You don't hear that often.
Actually,
Yeah,
like
Baltic.
when I got a craft beer, it was a fall time. I tasted Oktoberfest or a fest beer, and then it was like brown ales and stouts and all that. And here I am 10 years into beer, and then I finally find hoppiness and IPAs and all that. It took me like 10 years to figure out the hoppiness.
Well, the entire craft beer scene caught on at the same time. So I mean, you weren't alone in that. People were seeking those types of, unique flavors, but nobody thought, exploring those realms of hoppiness until just last several years.
Well, then we get 10 years later, and now we got Chicago this country with like, you got milkshake and everything else, and like not even hoppy. Like, it's like, what's going on here?
Yeah.
I look at these homebrew pages. I'm like, you want to do what? No. I'm not even going to say anything. I'm just going to scroll past that one because I'm not getting involved.
Yep.
Yeah. So, Jason, I think, I looked up the BJCP codes for the different porters. There's not really a porter category. It's English is in brown British beers, Baltics in lagers, and like porter isn't its own thing, which I think is part of the problem.
Stout has its own though, right?
Stout is more of its own. It's got like British stout and American stout, but that works because it is there's multiple different varieties in each category. But porters are just, is it American, British, or Baltic? And
yeah,
I feel like they could slice off a number and have that be, a porter category, porter center category, and then as
I agree.
A, B, C, D, put in a D,
Yeah,
and have it be a robust porter.
Right.
Yeah. You know what you could do? Throw a little bit of fruit in there and just call it a fruit beer because you get to do whatever the hell you want.
Did you already drink that beer?
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't imagine judging one of those categories. Oh, that'd be a mess. Yeah.
Yeah.
How was it?
It was good. You will hear some kind of funny, like last year when I got my silver for Paulie's truck and the hazy, when I submitted my hazy, it was a specialty IPA, and there weren't many now. And I can only imagine some people trying to submit stuff now. It's kind of funny because I knew JVF there was a hazy category, but not BJCP. There's a difference,
Right.
and like, I gotta put it on a specialty category. I knew the guy that beat me. I'm like, all right, his was good too, so is what it is. Sorry, don't mind me. I'm just trying to
You're good, man.
head in over here.
You're good. No worries. But we've been going for an hour. I do wonder, is there anything else we wanted to chat about?
No, we can just call it a night.
Yeah, I think I got everything from my side.
Yeah.
Yep, me too. All right. Have a good night.
Yeah, I'm headed out to Nelson County this weekend in Virginia. There's a bunch of breweries out there, so I'm going to try to hit up a few and hopefully have some things to talk about next week. So,
all right, cool. I will be in Indiana on Sunday. I will be revisiting a brewery that I talked up in a very glowing way within the last month, and that's Chesterton Brewery out of Chesterton, Indiana. So I'm looking forward to reporting back and see how that second visit goes. And I got a lot going on this weekend. Later on this coming week, I will finally get to taste test my hazy and see if I have a presentable one or not. regardless, it's been good, and I'll look forward to talking about it on here. And we'll be back here on Thursday too at 6 p.m. Central Time, 7 p.m. Eastern Time, and we'll be talking about all things beer and beer making.
All right.
And let's close up and say our website is www.aniceplacetobrew.com. If you need more of us between now and Thursday, check out our past episodes on our YouTube page. We have lots of content out there. Our podcast is available on iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify, and all those places you get your podcast from under the name A Nice Place to Brew. And we're on social media, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, at Nice Place to Brew and A Nice Place to Brew. Thank you very much. Have a great weekend. We will see you next Thursday right here on the Facebook and the YouTube channel. And as we send out every show, we raise a glass and say, I see you on the background, Uncle Rick. Go ahead, George.
Takes a lot of good beer to make great beer.
Cheers.
Cheers.